From November 14th to 21st, we're inviting you to join us for a powerful trip to Ghana. This isn't just a vacation. This is a chance to walk through the same places where many of our people were captured, held, and shipped off into slavery. So don't wait. Secure your spot today. We're making history by walking through it. Will you be with us?
Introducing the African Diaspora News Channel app, your gateway to stories that's overlooked by the corporate mainstream media.
At African Diaspora News Channel, we cover stories that don't receive mainstream attention, and we serve as the voice to the global Black community. We are committed to informing and educating through the power of media, connecting the African diaspora one story at a time.
With our platform, we're helping to end injustice by exposing it.
Join us in standing for excellence in journalism and serving our community. Download the African Diaspora News app today.
Peace, family. My name is Vicki Dillard for African Diaspora News Channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. As you come in, be sure to come in giving us a big thumbs up, and share the broadcast. We ask that you do that so that others will know that we're here. And for that, we say thank you so very much. Family, I have got to continue with this topic of illegal immigration and the outrageous riots that we're seeing across the country with those that violated the law to get here. Yes, this is very important. This is very important that we get this together because we're seeing mayhem in this country. Now, I want you to understand, as I said in yesterday's broadcast, if you missed my broadcast yesterday, be sure to check it out from yesterday. Yes, I want you to know this. I'm bringing some of this up because when you see the race soldiers in the police department, law enforcement, and even folks that are in the military delete and unalive foundational Black Americans, you often hear the narrative where they didn't comply. They had a gun on them. They stole some Cheetos. They didn't really steal the Cheetos, but they said that they thought somebody stole the Cheetos. They had the music loud. I said, these are from citizens. We are the children of those that actually built the country. Now, I know some of you all around the world are confused and you think that Abraham Lincoln and them and George Washington and all of the rest of them are the true founding fathers of this country. You probably think that they actually constructed the Constitution by themselves. You probably think that they did the layout of Washington, D.C. and the United States at that time as we know it. You probably think that them folks came up with innovative ideas that's responsible for the economics and growth of the country. They did none of that, including the setup of the Constitution. Do you know that, number one, some of the setup was actually taken from ancient Black prophetesses, their setup of governments in ancient times, but there was an actual Black man here in the United States of America that actually helped all those white folks that you see that signed the Constitution. It was a Black man that assisted them in the setup of the government, of the Constitution, the United States government. The layout was done by us. Many of the buildings that you still see standing today were built by the hands of our ancestors. I have to emphasize that because it's shocking how many folks don't know that. And I get it because there's a misinformation campaign that seek to control the books that have mistaught us, miseducated us, as well as the rest of the world. So I'm going to always emphasize that. Now, I'm specifically bringing that up in this case because I want you to know that the United States of America, America itself, is thoroughly ours. Let me hit my gavel on that. Did you hear what I said right there? I'm emphasizing that because I want you to understand that the building of this country and those that shed the blood in this country is thoroughly foundational Black Americans. So our demand for reparations, our demand for justice, listen, is about us taking back that which belongs to us. Or at the very least, getting some tangibles from it, from the building and the creation of it. So when you disrespect the United States of America, do you understand that technically, in reality, you're disrespecting us? So when some of you all say, well, why y'all throwing up the flag that the United States of American flag is white supremacists and colonialists, we know that from them white folk, from them folks. But when we rep it, we're doing it based on the blood shed and the innovative and creative creations of our ancestors. That's why we rep it and don't get the two mixed. Now, our issue with illegal immigration is that it's illegal. Did you hear what I said right there? Now, if in your mind you can keep jumping past that, something is really the matter with you. Why do we keep saying that? And why does Vicki keep saying this? Because some of our folks in the United States who are citizens who built the country, some of our folks are in the belly of the beast. They're in prisons now for nonviolent crimes. And nobody is advocating in the way that they are for you. We're not seeing 2,000 planned protests around the country for us, clearing Black folks' records. We don't see Congress folks saying that they're willing to lose their own liberty to go to prison until Foundation of Black Americans get justice and our records are cleared and we get tangibles. They're doing that for y'all. So you can see why we have a problem with this, right? And we don't need no advice, at least not from my commentary, because I deal with all factions, the so-called elite, the so-called 1%, the so-called deep state. I deal with them, baby. So I'm not the ones that you need to be saying, well, it's the elite that's really the one that's benefiting. It's a bunch of different motives. And I deal with them all, including this one. Now, to add insult to injury, and by the way, did you all know that the American flag, somebody put some flags in the chat. Did you all know that the American flag was substantively created? Initially, one of the main flags was initially, because we had a few, one of the main flags that we end up adopting was actually done by the hands of a Black woman. That's just a little side note. I just thought I would throw that out there in addition to everything else I just said. I want you to get ready to take a look at some of you who swam the great seas, climbed mountains that was really fenced to illegally come to this country. We don't know nothing about you, to invade the country, take resources that really belong to us, get housing that we don't get, jobs that we don't get, political backing that we don't get, health care that we don't get. You criminals, some of you, had the nerve to openly protest, and not just openly protest. Y'all watch this clip of what they doing now.
We don't believe we stand with the people of the world. We stand with the people of the world against U.S. imperialism. Down with U.S. imperialism! Yeah. And this is not just a good gesture. This is something we need to make real. We need to bring down this empire once and for all. Let that shit burn! Make it great like 92! Victory ain't afraid of you! Make it great like 92! Victory ain't afraid of you! Victory ain't afraid of you! Repeat after me. It is right to rebel! It
It's your right to rebel. Did y'all see that madness? Did you all see that open madness? People that violated the law, criminals, felons, illegals, unlawfuls, are sitting here burning American flags and spitting on it and openly talking about them rebelling. If you don't get you, if you don't get your, you don't get your, you don't get your, you don't get your. And what's getting me burned up, as my deceased grandmother would say, what burns me up is that you silly Democrats don't even have the courage to say, this is crazy. That lets you know the level of stupidity we've gotten to where, as I started the broadcast, when I said, you all have openly unalived my people on camera because you said the music was too loud. Or you lied and said that somebody stole some Cheetos or some Skittles or something. But people that are open felons, that have no fear of being arrested, that flaunt their illegality, that make demands of our tangibles and get them, and then set the American flag on fire and spit on it in the face of our injustice, while they thump their nose at us and turn up at Chicago meetings and tell foundational Black Americans, you lazy and no more money for you. How dare you, Democrats? Damn it, this is crazy. No fear. And even if it is legal, even if a person isn't a quote unquote an official citizen, what country would you go to, intelligent, decent human being, to another country that does such things for you? And you turn around and you set their flag on fire and you spit on it and you record it and you publicly desecrate it. But your weak self didn't have the courage or the energy to go build your little raggedy shanty towns that you fled from. You want to come over here and dictate and steal and destroy. And at the same time, y'all gonna sit here and tell me what the elite doing. Okay. Where you regular folks at? Where you protesters that are out there that are actual citizens that are saying, hey, we'll do the protesting as citizens, or you telling your fellow illegals out there, maybe we shouldn't do that. Probably don't want to spit on it like that. Maybe don't set it on fire, seeing that you don't really supposed to be here, seeing that you're a felon and all. The fact that you all don't even say a word, the fact that we can't hardly find any recordings of you all saying that you are flaunting your illegality in the face of the world. And watch this. Watch this. Not only not checking them. Did y'all see my broadcast yesterday? You got politicians that are posting and bragging about standing with these illegals. They're willing to put their life and limb and reputation on the line to fight for something that they absolutely don't have any energy to fight for us on. These are the same folks that are publicly and staunchly against foundational Black Americans getting reparations. But you're going to get out there and tell us now that if nobody has, if they don't have rights, nobody does. The problem is I'm looking for the footage of you in front of the federal prisons. People that are locked up right now that look like us, that are actual citizens, they are, I know they in the break rooms and on the courts and cleaning military bases and landscaping them like I did, saying to themselves, how do these felons that fled from another country get the attention of mainstream media? They actually get interviews. They actually get access to Congress folks They don't even respond to our letters and emails and our pleas and our cries for help. That's how you know there's an agenda. I've told you before, your Democrat Senator, Dick Durbin, out of Illinois, he was on the floor about a year or so ago saying he wanted all the illegals to get citizenship. A lot of the illegals get citizenship. He said, because we don't have enough people signing up for the military in the United States. We ain't got enough people that's willing to shed blood around the country to maintain our hegemony. We need some more soldiers that's willing to go out there and die. So let's let them be the soldiers. We're going to give them a bunch of goodies, citizen goodies. Then you had Chuck Schumer, another Democrat senator, high-ranking, long-term serving, New York. How many of y'all know we played right here on this network over and over again over the past year and a half or so, however long ago it was? He was at a press conference. He slipped up and said loudly at the press conference, let's make all 11 million. And then he said, or however many illegals are here. He said the number 11 million. And then he said, however many. That's what he said. Let's make them legal. Guess why he said it? He said, because there's a certain group, there's a certain population group in the United States, talking about white folk, his people, that's not having babies like they used to. So without us even getting into so-called deep state stuff, the elite stuff, your Congress people right there are telling you that America needs to be the policeman around the world, and they need more soldiers to deploy around the world. So if America is going to continue to punk everybody and continue to maintain the almost, just under 2,000 bases and installations that we have around the world, we got to have soldiers to man those bases and installations. And not enough Americans are healthy enough or in the fit condition enough for us to have the number of soldiers that we're supposed to be having signed up on a regular basis, the quota. We're not meeting the quota like we used to. Family, don't you dare sit up here and with your self-righteous self and say, well, the flag is colonialism. Ninja, what? I said for us. We talking about the shedding of the blood who built the country. We're still in the struggle for reparations. You should be offended. But more than offended by foreigners, you should be offended by your establishment, government leaders, media leaders that are actually on the front lines with them protesting. Because all of those that you saw in that footage, all of them aren't illegal. Some of them are sitting there egging them on. But they wouldn't stand next to us to demand reparations. If we did something like that, do you think that they would be willing to put their life and reputation on the line for us? All of you all should be upset by this. And Donald Trump, his numbers have gone down with his poll numbers. It's in the tank. Because he's wild and ridiculous. But guess what? This immigration is still a top thing. And his numbers, he's getting a lot of good feedback from what he's doing. Democrats are so dumb, they don't even have enough sense to at the very least say, ew, this is crazy. And we denounce this foolishness. They don't have enough sense to come to the table with us to say, hey, we really do need you all. We've been playing around. We've been doing studies. We've been pretending like we was going to do something for you. In some instances, y'all didn't pretend. You just straight up told us, I ain't going to do nothing for just for black folk, like Kamala said. Some of you all have not humbled yourself yet to say, you know what? This is crazy. This might be karma, and we want to change this. Let's go to our most faithful voting bloc, and let's really work to give them something substantive, like we do the Armenians. Do you what you mean, Armenians? Did y'all see my coverage from a couple months ago, whenever it was, where a black tax preparer, she saw my coverage that I was doing back-to-back coverage on the Ukrainians over here, us giving them Ukrainians all these benefits. And she said, as a tax preparer, she was saying how, for example, Armenians got into a war with Turkey. Y'all come close to the screen. I brushed my teeth. Come close, come close. almost 100 years ago. You see the blinkage? She said that when she prepares the taxes, the Armenians who was over there fighting in war with the Turkish, they get up to $100,000 in reparations for what had happened over there. And she says sometimes they double dip and they don't have to even report some of the income that they're actually getting over there. And it's actually called reparations. And how many of y'all know I gave you the receipts from a tax preparer and I took you directly to the IRS website? Why am I bringing that up? Because even if it's a snag with Congress giving us reparations, even if it's a snag with us getting reparations through lawsuits, immediately they just can change the IRS tax code and give foundational Black Americans no taxes and tax write-offs. That's something substantive until they get that other stuff figured out. So how do we justify? And both Republican and Democrat didn't say a mumbling word about it. This was going on for a long time. And I was shocked. And I was saying, she got to be kidding me on this, until I did my research. And the editors made sure that they put all the receipts that I suggested and they looked into it. And y'all saw the website yourself. And you saw the treaty that was associated with it. This is crazy. That in addition to all of these benefits different groups are getting, Ukrainians coming over here to get SSI. And then tens of thousands of Americans volunteer to open up their homes to let you Ukrainian, your Nazi Ukrainians, come over here. And now I understand why they did it that way. So that you all would have an actual residential address so that you could get the SSI checks. That was a slick plan that y'all did. And both Republican and Democrats were quiet about it. These foreigners are not paying into SSI. We pay into SSI. And when I first started covering it, some of y'all had the nerve to sit up there, well, it's a different kind of SSI, Vicki, they getting. Now y'all all talking like me. I want to remind you of something. Don't forget, it was Barack Obama that was first. When he left office, he was the one that was considered to be the deporter in chief. Can we pull that article headline up, team? I'm going to read from you very quickly from this NPR article. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I really just want you all to see the headline and tell you the truth. What does it say? What does the headline say, y'all, to January 20, 2017? I just wanted you all to know I'm not making this up. It says what? Obama leaves office as, quote, deporter in chief. President Obama has been dubbed deporter in chief by immigrant rights activists because of his record of deportation. Latino USA breaks down the label and places the term in historical context. First of all, I'm bringing that up to let you all know that as quiet as it's kept now, the Democrats know full well that immigration issue with these illegals coming over here like that was a big problem. So much so that Obama, he just didn't make a big deal about it. He just quietly was turning them at the border. Get out. Now you got to ask yourself, why is it that Donald Trump and the Republicans aren't pushing that more? See, the Republicans, they don't want to remind the public that the Democrats actually substantive did something at one time about deportations. They want to continue to paint the Democrats as have always been solely in the single party that's been against immigration, illegal immigration. But that's not true. The president that gave illegal immigrants the greatest immigration bill since the 60s that Black folks were responsible for helping to push was under Ronald Reagan. That's why for the past several decades, when you find Hispanic folks, in particular Latino folks that have been here 20, 30 years, the reason why you keep hearing them brag on Reagan, the reason why some of them rock with the Republicans like they do, is because it was a Republican that gave them, in recent history, the most substantive pro-immigration bill. Don't let them Republicans fool you like that. Now, if Obama was considered to be deporter in chief, which means that they were saying he was deporting more folks than anybody, how come either side, they're not pushing that more, showing, hey, that this was a good thing? They got agendas. And the Republicans don't want you all to know that the Democrats actually was doing something at one time for it. So when different factions start to have their own motives for using immigration, then they start playing both sides. You understand? I wanted to bring that out because we know the Democrats know it's a problem. That's why I'm bringing it up. I got a couple minutes. I want to do this final quote. Y'all know I quote the great Dr. Claude Anderson on a regular basis. Yes? In his book, one of many that he's written, Powernomics is one of the most famous ones. Yes? And you can get this book, I believe, at his website at powernomics.com. He reminded us of this, and I have said this many times before. Look, y'all see my book is highlighted. I got clips all over the place. I take these out, put new ones in all the time because I'm always referencing this book. I'm saying this and I'm going to go. What does he say here on page 192? Listen, because this ain't, for us, this is not about hate against one group. I'm trying to show you how the great Dr. Claude Anderson, by the way, who's an economist, the great Dr. Claude Anderson, who's an academic and was a teacher, the great Dr. Claude Anderson, who worked for the federal government. Do you all know that Dr. Claude Anderson was chosen by Jimmy Carter to work in his administration? Somewhere, I think it was in the Commerce Department. I just want y'all to know who we dealing with. He actually worked in the White House in the Carter administration. So I just want you all to know we're not listening to a dummy here. What did he tell us? He's giving us the secrets on how to play this game. What did he tell us? On page 192, it says here, know your competitors. What did he say? He said to promote his own self-interest, and I'm getting ready to go after this, a group should only select for allies those who will support the group and will not benefit from its demise. This is an orchestrated effort to avoid Black issues and to supplant them with Hispanics and other minorities. Yeah, this is from many years ago that he said this. In 1972, he says the National Hispanic Party conceived a plan to subordinate Black Americans by the year 2000 by bringing in a layer of minority ethnic groups between whites and Blacks. Are y'all listening? He said in 1972, the National Hispanic Party conceived a plan to subordinate Black Americans by the year 2000. That's what he told us. He says, like Asian, Arab, European, gay, handicap, and women's organizations, Hispanic organizations do not promote a Black agenda, nor do they equate Black and Hispanic interests. Hispanics and other so-called minorities are competing against Blacks, whether the Black overclass knows it or not. He says some Hispanic groups are even more competitive. Y'all ain't listening. And freely state their intent to totally replace Blacks on the American agenda. Our brother told us this years ago. In the spring of 1992, C-SPAN aired conference sessions of the Council of La Raza. Several speakers spoke openly and emphatically about how Hispanics would change the issues in the country from Black and white to white and Hispanic. The number of Hispanics in the United States tripled between 1970 and 1990 and will surpass the Black population by 2002. While Hispanics prepared to celebrate becoming the nation's minority population, I said that right, minority population. He said there is little public discussion on the socioeconomic impact on Black Americans. In a society that maintains a racial hierarchy, discord can be expected as groups compete for resources, especially if one group is shackled by harmful legacies. Author Michael Lind, L-I-N-D, y'all look into him, in his book titled The Next American Nation, spoke of how Hispanics inherited, listen, affirmative action and other programs that were originally designed to help Black Americans because Black leadership failed to protest it. Finally, Lynn said, one by one, Hispanic mayors will replace Black mayors. Hispanic contractors will edge out Black contractors. Hispanic quotas in education and hiring will increase. Hispanics will demand their own congressional districts at the price if necessary, of the destruction of the Black majority districts. Lynn expressed amazement that Black leadership would allow white women and ethnic minorities to replace Blacks. He wondered what Black civil rights leaders would have said in the 1960s had they known that within one generation, the primary beneficiaries of affirmative action and other civil rights initiatives would be well-to-do white women, Asians, and Hispanics. Most of these Hispanics are classified as whites and lived in Mexico, Cuba, Salvador, Honduras, and Guatemala for decades after the end of the civil rights movement. Yet they now displace Blacks. How do today's Black leaders justify their active role in helping women, Hispanics, Asians, and other immigrants capitalize on Black issues, then edge out and subordinate Blacks? Y'all know I got so much more I can say, but I'm going to stop there. I'm just giving you a little bit enough to know that he knew that this was an agenda that was in play for decades. And the great Dr. Claude Anderson, in addition to all those credentials that I just mentioned, I want to emphasize this credential again. He worked behind enemy lines in the White House, in the Commerce Department. So when he speaks, and when he's giving us the secrets, and when he's telling us how the game is played, we listen. I can't wait to see what you have to say about this. Now the question is on us, family. How are we going to organize? How are we going to push back? We can't just let Donald Trump use our energy because he knows we're against this. We at the same time need to say, if you want to keep getting this energy, you better start cutting the check. My name is Vicki Dillard, beloved. Be sure to follow me at vickidillard.tv. Check out my website at vickiplanet.com. Of course, don't forget, I'm here Tuesday through Thursdays, typically 2 p.m. Eastern, live. And in addition to that, I do international commentary, so don't forget to check that out. Of course, Brother Phil should be live tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. Thank you so much for tuning in. I can't wait to see